Google started Googling us.
You need only one day to decide that you will get married.
Just need to make it successful.
That's it.
I want to see his money.
Any advices that you can give for family-founded businesses?
Have a psychotherapist.
Today we're sitting down with Katya and Suki Skye, founders and co-founders of DACHA Project, combining several businesses in the hospitality industry, each based on the principles of professionalism, respect, integrity, dignity, and empathy. You'll discover how these entrepreneurs took their vision from concept to reality, managing the challenges of running multiple businesses as a couple. You'll hear their valuable insights on thriving in Silicon Valley competitive environment without needing to be a startup. If you're interested in learning about the power of partnership, scaling multiple ventures, and building a brand driven by values, welcome.
Hello, I'm Marina Morgan, founder of boutique organizational psychology agency, The Morgan Impact. Here on this channel, we're sharing best practices and knowledge that help me and my client build resilience and develop their businesses even in the most challenging and unpredictable times. And today, I'm so happy to introduce you my guests, Katya and Suki Skye, that founded amazing untechnological business in technological Silicon Valley, not only founded, but also successfully developed business project in hospitality industry, DACHA Project. Hello, ladies. Thank you for having me today in your amazing place.
Hello. Thank you for coming.
So we will start with a quick question about what is your business today. It will help our viewers to understand what we will talk about in our conversation. So, Suki, can you describe briefly what is the DACHA Project today?
So we have, I guess, technically three businesses, three different LLCs. We started with Manhattan Zodiac in 2019, which was a cocktail catering business, now is consulting and mixology classes, consulting for bars and restaurants. We have DACHA Cafe, and we have DACHA Kitchen and Bar, which is our full restaurant. That's where we are today.
As you can guess, you are not only the business partners, you are the family as well, because you have the same last name. Sometimes, it's not because of the family members.
People think we're sisters, but no.
Okay. So, and I think that this is a very important part of how your business look like today, that you are not only the business partners, you are the family. And that's why before we will dive deeper into understanding what DACHA Project is, I want to know a little bit more about you and sharing your stories with the people who will watch this interview. And that's why I would ask you to tell about your journey before you met each other, before you become a family, and before you created DACHA Project. So, Katya, I want to start with you. Please tell us a little story. What's your life look like before you met Suki, and what brought you to this industry? Hospitality industry.
All right. So I was born out of the polar circle in Russia, a town named Vorkuta. When I was 14 years old, my family moved to St. Petersburg because it was time for me to get education. So I got education in telecommunication, management, and finances. And then I worked in logistics for about 12 years. So I was organizing international shipments. That was an interesting journey. I built pretty solid career there, but was never happy. I decided to leave Russia because honestly, I was never comfortable there in many different ways. And part of it is because I belong to LGBTQ community, and I wouldn't say it's a comfortable place to be. So I had immigration intentions for quite a while, and finally decided to immigrate to the United States because I was traveling a lot around Europe for my previous job and never found a place where I felt like home. So I had never been to the United States before, but it was like kind of last drop, and I was like, okay, I'm moving wherever. And I moved to the United States. The only one way for me to kind of make money here was hospitality industry. And pretty fast after I started to work in hospitality as barista, as waiter, as bartender, I started to bartend for a while. I realized that I love the industry a lot, and I actually finally feel comfortable doing what I'm doing. So I moved myself to New York for a couple of years because it's, I would say, probably the best place in terms of quality, in terms of variety, and in terms of intensity of the service industry in the United States. So I consider it as school years. I spent there 2 years. I mostly to understand which part of the industry I feel most comfortable in. So I decided that bartending is what I want to do. I knew that I'm going to open something here, which will belong to me. And I moved back to San Francisco and I felt confident in the industry. So I was managing bars, I kept bartending. And then at one point, I met Suki.
It was in the party, right?
Huh?
It was in the party that you were.
Yes, it was a
You
party.
worked there?
I organized a party. Like part of my journey was started from like organizing techno events, dance events, because I love techno. But in San Francisco, I didn't find a place where like I would feel comfortable as a woman, like going into like nightlife, night parties. So I wanted to create a safe space for women, safe space for people where like they can enjoy the music without fear of being harassed, fear of being surrounded by people influenced by substances and all of that stuff. So I started to create small little parties, and I was bouncing people myself. So I was guarding bathrooms, making sure everybody is comfortable. And that was one of the parties where I met Suki. So do you want to start the story?
So
did
backwards
you
or forward?
Did you check that? Did you check her before you opened the door of your place? Or I don't know. Okay, you can come. It was something like this.
Yeah, a different kind of check.
Oh, she was the friend of the friends.
Yeah, we had DJ friends in common and sort of knew of each other before and had met once before, but it was in my previous life. And this was 6 months later after I had like moved out, started a divorce process. The party was within walking distance of my new apartment. And I walked in and saw her in her fabulous silver space jumpsuit. And like, that was it. My heart was stolen.
Do you remember the moment when you saw Suki first time in your life?
The very first time, yes, I do. We met actually in Golden Gate Park. She was with her ex-husband, and we didn't talk too much, to be honest. And the second time was the most memorable because we just started to dance together, and this is where right away. And probably at the same time, we thought that we are going to get married.
Probably, yeah.
At that moment.
Yeah. No, it was the next day, actually. The first date.
We had our first date, and each of us thought, like separately, without telling each other, like, I think I could get married to this person. Right. But I was still married at the time, like trying to get out of a terrible marriage.
It was my question. Did you feel something special in the sense that you felt, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Suki, your time. Can you share your journey a little bit before this amazing event happened in both of your lives, girls?
Sure. So originally, I was born in Maryland. I knew Maryland was never for me. I came to San Francisco when I was 13 years old and fell absolutely in love. Moved here when I was 20 years old, so only 7 years later, and didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, but I was very creative. I have an artistic background. My family are very artistic. I started with an art history. Actually, I thought I wanted to be a psychologist. That was the original, but there was like too much school and too much math. So I went to art history. And when I was almost finished with that, I decided there's nothing I can do with this degree functionally. So I went all the way back through and did a business degree. So I have two bachelors. And during that time, I worked in many art museums, different nonprofits. I worked for a fashion startup, and eventually moved back to Washington, D.C. and became a consultant, strategic communications consultant for Booz Allen Hamilton. And actually, that was one of the best career decisions because I still know many of those people to this day. And I learned so many different skills that I just never would have done. I got my first federal job. Booz Allen Hamilton is quite heavy on the federal clients. I worked for Homeland Security for about 2 years, and that was an experience. Would not recommend, but found my job at the National Park Service during that time, and also found my passion for internal communications. It just is something that I feel a lot of companies overlook and sort of assume people know what's happening without really dedicating staff and time and energy towards internal communications. I still work for the National Parks now doing internal comms. And we started this journey together pretty soon after we met in 2019. And I was mostly in the background for kind of a while, like supporting roles, helping bus, things at events and clean plates and do whatever needed to be done for cocktail catering. But then at the start of the pandemic, it was my idea to, can I say it's my idea to do virtual mixology?
Sure. Of course, because it was your idea.
I noticed that there were like Sausalito Parks and Rec and Tiburon Parks and Rec were doing online classes. And I was like, we should do online mixology. Everybody's at home, they want to drink. So we started doing that. We also shipped kits to people with, filled with all of the ingredients. We did drink vodka like a Russian, and it just with food from, that we would deliver to people. And it just grew from there. And we knew we needed to have a place once the pandemic stopped. We did cocktail catering again. We wanted to find a location. This location found us. I feel like we were not planning on a restaurant. But when we walked in here, it's like undeniable. This space has an energy that is like right in the vibe of who we are and what we were trying to do. And so we just figured out how to open a restaurant. We had no experience.
We will speak about it a little bit later.
Yeah.
Want to come back a little bit for you to the point where you met each other. So how long have you been together before you decided to open the business together?
We met in January and it was August when Manhattan Zodiac.
I think, I was already we started to create LLC with my former business partner, but we didn't know what to do. And the pandemic actually gave us a direction what to do. And Suki with her idea, amazing idea. I think it was like probably right at the beginning of our relationship when business ideas started, and we started to form business ideas, and we went like fully in within like 8 months.
It also was that you were working until like 3 a.m. I would wake up and like spend an hour together. I would go back to sleep and wake up at 8 a.m. for my daytime job. And like we did that for quite a long time. And it just was like, I miss you so much. I want to spend more time together. Like, this is unsustainable.
Let's start business together.
It's a great idea. It's great motivation to open the business.
Yeah.
So you need only one day to decide that you will get married and 8 months to decide to open the business together.
Yep.
Yeah, it took a while.
Okay, and as I guess correctly, you didn't think about opening a restaurant at that moment. You thought about the mixology classes, some maybe catering business, but not the restaurant, right? And here we are in the restaurant. And I remember the moment when I came here my first time. It was maybe a couple days after your official opening 1 year ago. And I remember that I and all our friends, we just decided to try everything in the menu, and we did it for several circles. And also I took a lot of piroshki to brought to my husband, and it was amazing. It was not so much people here at the opening, but it was so tasty and such a warm feeling. And right now, 1 year passed. And I would like both of you to share the amazing aspects of this journey and some challenges since the moment when you decided to open business, find the spots, I decided to open this restaurant, to the anniversary days that was just two weeks ago, right? It was on the November 1st. Okay, so Suki, I ask you to start.
So our journey, our business journey, I would say started in 2019 with this business. We started doing the journey towards DACHA Kitchen and Bar goes quite far back. We started doing the cocktail catering in sort of the fall of 2019. That was going pretty well. The pandemic, of course, hit us. We went online and did virtual mixology classes on all of the kits and everything. And then fall, winter of 2020, Google started Googling us, eBay Googled us, all of these giant companies who couldn't have their Christmas parties in person. And they Googled like get drunk online or something like that. And we were thankfully one of the, I think, top listings there.
You had some kind of some LinkedIn service or some landing page?
Yes, we had a website and we had some SEO to get, those terms to make us number one for those search terms. And as we got into the spring of 21, those companies then brought us back for mixology classes and some cocktail catering gigs and things like that. And we knew kind of around that time, maybe even a little bit before, that we needed some kind of brick and mortar, that we wanted a bar because we were operating the catering business out of our kitchen and out of our dishwasher. And the whole apartment was filled with all of the accoutrement of a cocktail catering business, and it was not very much fun.
Sticky stains, yes,
Sticky,
from glasses
like,
until the ceiling. So
So we started looking for a bar and saw a lot of properties. Katya saw more than I did, and we did actually open another bar. We had another project. We won't talk too much about it because we don't like share who it is, but the partnership fell apart, and thankfully we got out with a little bit of money even, and took a couple of months to rest and actually went to Portugal. While we were on that trip, we were super, super inspired by the industry there and the fact that the people who were running the bar owned the bar and really, really were passionate about what they were doing, like in a way that I'm not sure I've seen in the United States, like not yet, not until us. I mean, they really cared about every single detail, and that was really inspiring. And on that trip, our realtor called us and said, I know you're not looking for a restaurant, but there's this place that you should see. And Tanya, who is one of our longtime business partners, came and she sent us a video and was like, this feels like home. And for Tanya, that's a lot of emotion. Like, that's a lot for her to say. That kind of sentiment. And we're like, oh, okay, what are we doing? And we had a long talk about it. Decided, okay, let's try. Let's put our hat in the ring and see if they even take us up on it. We had to take a lot of savings. We don't have a lot, but we had enough to sort of get us into the ring. We borrowed money from family, and we asked several people who we had worked with in the past to become business partners with us, whether they wanted to buy into the LLC. And so we have several different business partners, and they've all supported us along the way. Many of them work in the business with us, and then some are just silent sort of investors. We found Chef Katya along the way through friends. We decided to do the restaurant. We're like, okay, we'll find a chef. I'm just confident, I know that we will. And somehow we found each other, and it just worked out. We, met, when was that? March of 2023?
I think so. Yeah.
We signed the contract in January to start the process. I think met her in March. Didn't try her food until 2 months later. I don't know exactly. We knew from her previous projects, we had tried something from there, and we're like, okay, this is good. Let's just trust the process. It took several more months for us to get through the entire purchase process. Getting a liquor license takes quite a long time. going through equity, all of the things, and finally got the keys in August of 2023. And we opened officially on November 1st of 2023, had a couple of like warm up opening events in which we failed miserably, but that was the point. It was like,
So give me just a sec.
Yeah.
Before we will discuss in more details what happened for this year.
Yeah.
You just briefly mentioned, we find some money. I know that it wasn't such an easy. I know that
Yeah.
you're looking for the opportunities for some bank support, loan, some
Yeah.
project that supports small businesses, restaurant industry businesses.
Yeah.
Can you tell a little bit more about it? Because it is not so easy. And I think it's very important for the people who just thinking about opening new business, specifically not in the tech industry, how it's look like here in San Francisco or in the Bay Area. What is the business supporting industry for the non-technological businesses? Because we know a lot about, accelerators, venture capital, all this stuff. But what about you? Maybe you had enough money to open the restaurant at that moment, but as you mentioned that you're looking for some investors, that you're looking for some money from the partners, and you invited the partners to a project.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell a little bit more about it? What kind of
Mhm.
support did you looking for, and was it successful or not?
Yeah, so I think San Francisco and Bay Area is probably one of the best places in the world to find funds for small businesses. First and foremost, you have to have a very solid business idea and a business plan to actually present to organizations, to investors, to friends and families, because they will have a lot of questions. So you need to answer all of those questions. And even if you don't have answers to their questions, it's a great exercise and practice to actually find those answers before you will get into the business. So business plan first, passion about your business plan, because a lot of people have a lot of great ideas, but people and organizations actually invest into those who can manage those ideas and who can make them happen. So you need to be in the industry which you are really passionate about. I think that's one of the keys. And then we didn't want to have investors. I mean, it's not a big problem in San Francisco to find investor with big money, like really. But since we already had bad experience with this kind of partnership, we decided not to do that anymore. And the task was to kind of figure it out on our own, how we can get into the partnership which we are comfortable with, first of all, because we will be together for like years. It's almost a marriage in some ways. So we didn't want to get into partnerships which we were not sure about. We, first of all, like one of the ideas of DACHA Projects, and if this idea and if this precedent will work, we hope that we will develop it further, because problem with businesses in San Francisco is that it's absolutely not affordable for industry people, for people from restaurant, bar, and food industry, because like people in this industry don't make as much money to save for your own place. And we decided to create the scheme where like we have small investors in our business who are passionate about the industry. Some of them are silent, but they're still from the industry. So they can create some kind of passive income for themselves. We started to research different grants, different crowdfundings. One of the biggest one was SMBX, which is a crowdfunding platform. And this one was the easiest and the most approachable.
Mm-hmm.
So we raised $70,000 through SMBX. Then we were looking for different grants. And I think one of the best ways is to go to your community first. Either you belong to LGBTQ community, or you belong to like any kind of minority communities, or industry community. These are your first resources where you can find some funds because there are a lot of grants in San Francisco. Like Bay Area, luckily, is full of money. So you just need to find the ways to kind of make this money to go through you. And it will be a lot of work, but it's possible. If you want to tell a little bit about the grants programs.
So we didn't end up getting those grants because the money dried up, unfortunately, but I'm hoping that San Francisco City will renew. There were like two pretty large grants, 25K and 50K for small businesses. And we took a class through the LGBT Center, kind of an entrepreneurship class, which was great. And we met great people and learned something good. And so we're still keeping an eye on the San Francisco grants, but there are other grants that are available. It's just not these like two particular ones that we were looking for. The other thing I'll mention is in-kind. So particularly for the hospitality industry, in-kind is essentially a loan, and you pay back that loan through people coming and paying through their app. And we have had amazing success with in-kind because a lot of our guests come because they find us on in-kind's map. And not only are they helping us with funding when we need it, but they're also bringing a lot of visitors our way. We also are on the rewards network. So it's like you have a credit card and you get points, or, through a flight, through one of the airline companies. And we have a lot of people who come through rewards network as well. We're on Seated. So we're kind of like on as many of the apps as possible for hospitality industry that can bring clients our way in terms of marketing. We're pretty much there. I'm sure we've missed a couple of them, but I think we're on maybe 5 or 6 of these types of things where we're sort of on some kind of map and people are looking for us and they'll find us through these systems.
Another thing is actually, which is getting more and more popular, is revenue-based financing.
Yeah.
And we got some finances through our POS system. So basically they you can get a loan from them and they just cut cheap a little bit every month from your revenue, and it's based on your revenue.
But it will work if you already have a revenue. But before you
you
start to earn some revenue.
Yeah.
Okay. If to summarize it, what recommendations can you give to somebody who are founded a small business right now in Bay Area, for example, or maybe in other regions? What you should looking for? Like, for example, government support system and programs for the small businesses, community. Just let's try to summarize it.
I would start with your local government because every town has some kind of small business center, which can connect you to loan options, financing options, crowdfunding options, grants, all of that. I would start with your local government organizations. I also would just recommend ask your friends and family or network. That's what we did. It was terrifying, but some of them said yes. I think all of them said yes.
All of them said yes, so we just got to choose.
And it was hard. It's very, very hard, but you never know who's going to say yes. The people who said yes, we were shocked that they said yes. And, we worked out the terms with each of them, have a little bit different payback terms. Some of them are owners and some of them are pure lenders. But I think, if you don't have savings of your own, which again, we didn't have a lot, we had enough to sort of start, but we just asked and figured it out step by step by step, what we're going to do and how much we had and how much we needed, and just have figured it out since then, because we've gotten to the point where we ran out of money. We were not making enough from the restaurant, and we had to sell some of my 401k. We had to get creative about what to do. You just sort of figure it out if you're really passionate about what you're doing.
Okay, I have a brief question about the difference between investments from some independent investor and your, friends and family. Because as for me, it can be really nervous because you really understand that your close people believe in you or not believe, right? And if, for example, somebody from your friends and family will say no, it's really, can it ruin the relationship? What do you think about it?
No, absolutely not. I think their reasons for saying no are personal, and they can explain it if they want to, but some people are just not ready to make that kind of investment. They don't have the funds to, the liquid funds to be able to do that. I don't take it as they don't believe in, or if they had said no, I wouldn't take it that they didn't believe in us, but maybe the concept isn't something that they're willing to put their money towards, because everybody knows the hospitality industry is very unpredictable, low profit margins, right? It can be high depending on where you are and what the concept is and all of that. But no, I think it's just a personal resolve that, like, it doesn't mean anything about me or us or our business. It's just that they're not in a place or ready to do that.
I had some experience with the clients who, for example, belong to the wealthy family, and when son or daughter, ask the parents about the investments to the business and got some no, this is the reason to come to the psychologist sometimes. Well, that's why I'm asking about it, because you've had this experience. Okay, cool. Do you remember the moment when the door was opening for the first time? How was it? What those the emotions? We did it, unbelievable, or sometimes, for example, when you're preparing for a long time for such an event and it's happened and you're that's it. Okay, how was it? Please tell everyone.
Well, that was an amazing moment, actually, because first of all, despite that we are like in a very open-minded space on the earth, it's actually becomes quite narrow-minded when it comes to LGBTQ female-owned business with no history of business behind it. Like, yes, we had Manhattan Zodiac, but it was not, I don't know, $1 million company, or it was not brick and mortar. And the first question which we faced when we started to look for the space, and we were looking for the space for 3 years. And the first question we faced from our realtor, like, show me your investor, and I want to see his money. So it was very like
his
gender assertive, specific money. So this is where like a series of obstacles started for us as like female-owned, LGBTQ-owned business, which don't have brick and mortar and don't have proven history of the business before. In San Francisco, like, landlords don't want to talk to you. Like,
really,
even realtors, like, at the very beginning, these obstacles start. So you need to overcome all of them.
I want to say that I know one female investor, and she founded some kind of community that women in venture capital industry, and she shared that it's very difficult to find women in this industry, and she just trying to develop it, and she really managing a huge capital, and she trying to find some crowd, to do it together, and it's really difficult. That's mean maybe there is some expectation that it should be his money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So we like overcame through a lot of obstacles on the way to like get this brick and mortar and get it without investors, because like the one reasons why we went into the previous partnership which didn't work and fall apart was like I couldn't see any other way to like get into the ownership in this industry, being just a bartender or bar manager or whoever. So I was like, okay, this is probably the only one way, but apparently it's not. And thanks very much to that partnership to kind of like show us the way to our like own adventure, which we created ourselves.
You faced this some kind of gender aspects in previous partnership, or it was just maybe, unmatched values or something like that? Because if I remember correctly, your previous partner was a man, right?
Yeah.
If you don't want, we shouldn't discuss it. But if you ready to share,
I think it was like not matching values on many different levels. So yeah, but my partners were all male, and I was the only one like lesbian woman immigrant in like this whole
belong to several minorities.
Yeah, I was like a little out of the like beautiful picture. I mean, so it's just yeah, it just didn't work. So, and it was crashing, to be honest. It was like for 3 months, I couldn't recover because like we put a lot of energy into that project. We put a lot of efforts, and I do understand that group. Like they made a choice like towards their own values and towards their own community and values, and like I have no hard feelings at this point because this is what I'm creating, and probably I would do the same if I would get some kind of outsider who came like, yeah, like fully motivated, like was like, okay, let's do it and let's do it this way. And I think it's gonna work. And they were like, no, let's do it like our like own old ways. And it just didn't work. So,
by the way, that's what entrepreneurs typically do. If you don't like something or disagree with something or you didn't find the service that you wanted in the market, you just created it by your own.
Yep.
So, okay. And the moment when you opened the door of this place at the first time, what was the emotions after all this complicated journey what you faced with? How was it?
I remember like feeling, wow, we did it. Oh my God, did we? Like,
you got it there. You get this right.
Yeah, we cut the, how do you call it?
The ribbon.
Ribbon. Yeah, we cut that and we were like, I mean, if we went through like this whole journey, we probably can do much more. Like we actually got there. It was like getting into the space of ownership in this city, and we just need to make it successful, and then we will start growing.
You know, typically some of my clients, they share that experience that I thought that to launch the business is the most complicated part. Definitely not. To develop it and to support it. It's like with a baby, you know, sometimes you think that, pregnancy is the most complicated part of the journey. 100% no.
It's just preparation.
It's just, there are light preparation. So, did you remember your emotions? That the door was open?
Absolute joy and absolute terror all at the same time, because the first like test run event that we had 90 people coming. Like we did a, Eventbrite kind of RSVP, and we had only allowed for 90 minutes per group. So we had like a 5 p.m. group, we had a 6:30 group, and then we had an 8 o'clock group. And about 70% of the 5 p.m. were still there at 6:30 when a whole new crowd came and were staring at me because I'm the host, generally still. And like, it was a wreck. So I was terrified about that part, but I was so full of joy over just like, we got here. We got to the place where we can actually open our doors and invite people in. It was like such a mixed bag of emotions.
We all cried that day because everything
many
went
times,
wrong.
I think.
And it's female-owned business, so we cry a lot here. So.
This is the reality. We had this emotion regulation mechanism, not just for not using it, we should use it because we have it.
Yes.
And not only for, for fempreneurs, for all the entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some specific, there are secret classes that, crying classes for entrepreneurs. It's true, it's true. And this, the frame how you can come there is, it's huge enough, and you should go for a lot of tested to create this trusted community. Because typically entrepreneurs, they just competition with each other. I'm the best, not I'm the best, because this is a part of the game that you're trying to show that you're the best.
Yeah.
And you should create a trusted space with the people that deeply understand your concerns, your situation, your challenges. And after it's for a week, if I remember correctly, and it's happening in Napa Valley or in some, some secret places where you can, the apogee of the story is where you're just crying with each other. I can say, I understand you, I understand you as well. And it's really there a relief. And sometimes it's only one thing that entrepreneur really needs, some, business advice, is just to share with somebody your emotions. Because, it's very stigmatized. Entrepreneurs can share it with a team because you should to provide the confidence for the team. Sometimes it's difficult to share with your family as well because your family rely on you, or they not really understand what's going on in your business. You have another situation, I suppose, that you are, experience it together. We will talk about it a little bit. But sometimes the only one thing that you need is to allow yourself to request some support. So it's really great that you did it here and that you share it with us. So, okay. And looking back for this 1 year of the journey, can you share the most impressive, amazing, and inspiring moment and the most challenging moment? Let's start with challenging because, after that we will go to some kind of inspiration.
I would say most challenging for me, I think you'll have a different one. It was this case in January when we pretty much ran out of money. And, I'm the finances person, I'm the communications, I'm marketing, I'm interior design. I play a lot of different roles, but finance is probably the most important.
And you're responsible for the finance
Yes.
in your new team.
Yes.
Okay. We'll speak later about all the team, but I just
Yeah.
want to emphasize it. Okay.
And I knew towards the end of December, so we opened November 1st, and I knew kind of getting towards the end of December that like, oh shit, like things are not looking good for us. And like I said, I liquidated part of my 401k, and that got us through for a little bit longer. And then we found In Kind, so we got some funding from them. But that moment of like, if we don't find some way to pay our bills in the next 2 weeks, like that's
2 weeks. You had it 2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's it. Like that's all we have. And of course, I'm not telling In Kind that like sweating in the background, like dying. Yes, sure. Like, yeah. When is that going to be available? I tried to keep it as cool as possible, to not freak anybody else out. She knew everything that was going on, but, we wanted to I didn't want the staff to know that if we don't figure something out, we're not going to be able to pay you and we're going to have to shut our doors. It's a scary, scary moment.
You mean, what we should pay, whatever it is, I don't know, 50,000, 20,000, I don't know what's the expenses in your business, and you see that you have nothing.
Yep,
on your
or that
account.
we are going to run out imminently. So I just sort of, I already planned, so we have an amazing accountant. Shout out to Will Jones, and Core 4 Financial. We met several times. So we did sort of a year-long plan for our finances, and, we had estimates of what we thought we were going to get. And because of the time that we opened, November, it's sort of already past when is the kind of sweet spot for people to really understand, to find you, to do the marketing. And our projections for capital, for profits at that point, or even just revenue, were so wildly wrong. And I think that's one thing I would share.
I mean, all the plan, all the financial strategy.
Completely wrong. I mean, wildly and completely wrong. We really...
You was too positive about it?
Yes.
Or?
We thought we were going to be making $200,000 a month, that we would go jump right in and everybody would find us. And, in that first month, I think we made 30,000. I think in the second month we made 40,000.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, it cost at that point about 60,000 to run the business every month. It's about 85 right now because we've ramped up our staffing a lot. And, you can see the deficit of somewhere, somehow $30,000 has to come from somewhere. And we, I knew I had a few small backup cash deposits, and I still do to this day have oh shit, mechanisms just in case we don't have the money to cover our bills. I'm trying to not touch them and pretend as though they don't exist essentially. But yeah, we had to dip into a big chunk for that month. We got through that month and have so far been okay. We still dip into our personal finances a lot to cover, not now, actually in the last 3 months, we really have not had to use our own money to pay for bills, but for the first 9 months, we were just, using our own money.
Okay. At the end of our conversation, I will ask you about some kind of summarized advices for somebody who are launching right now, but this is the very important part of it that I want to discuss a little bit about the financial planning. From the one side, if you will not be such an ambitious or inspiring, maybe you will not even start. And this is the balance between the reality and it's something that make you move forwards when you start business. Because I know something about the neurophysiology of entrepreneurs. They are open to risk not because they're such deeply can do a great analysis, because their brain work very fast and they don't have enough time to count all the risks, and that's why.
That's very true.
That sounds
this
about
is
right.
the way how entrepreneurial brain works, and you just should understand it. And in the moment of stabilizing your business, you just need somebody who will balance you and say something like, okay, let's take a breath and look more directly at what's going on, because you just should know this about yourself. It's very important to be like this, to be open for the risk at the start. But if you want to develop your business and to stabilize it, it's not very interesting to most entrepreneurs. They just love to launch, to looking for new opportunities, because this is something that make them feel this inspiration. You just need somebody who will say you, okay, let's breathe deeply and pay a little bit more attention for the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, what was yours, Skye?
Mine was, so I am responsible for like building the team here overall. So, and mine was, and it was a huge leap for us generally, like open brick and mortar, like this size. It's pretty decent size of a restaurant, so it's not small. And it was a huge leap for us in terms of the business. And I didn't have, like, I had a lot of knowledge on like management and building team, but I didn't have a lot of experience. And that was probably the most challenging part, to kind of like build the team at the very beginning. And we changed the whole team since then, because like I was doing it wrong. And bringing on board people. So like we wanted, like we have a bunch of missions which kind of got us through a lot of difficult times. And one of the mission was like on my end to bring like people who want to get into the industry, but like couldn't for whatever reasons. So we brought those people on board. We taught them skills, but ethics and culture is something that takes much longer to teach and develop than just skills of like, I don't know, serving or bartending or whatever, or like kitchen skills. And ethics and culture is probably 70% of success of a good service. And that was the most challenging part. And that was like, which gave me a lot of sleepless nights on like, how can I manage this team? How can I manage these people? How can I like bring them to the level which we need here? And unfortunately, we didn't have enough time. I think I had a problem with like generally building the boundaries with people that time. So I learned a lot through this year, like how to do it. And right now we are in much better spot than we were at that time. Because like to keep it all together, we had to be here every day, like just because of what I created in terms of like staffing here at the beginning. And that was a huge learning loop.
Yeah. I can say, you mentioned that you made some kind of mistakes in the hiring team, but I don't think honestly that this is some kind of mistakes, because at the first, steps of the business, it's changing very, dynamically, with a huge dynamic. And today your business doesn't look like the same like yesterday. And sometimes everything can change because you are just stabilizing. You're looking for your voice, you're looking for your clients, you're looking for your market. And it is really important. A lot of entrepreneurs ignoring it at the first steps because they're thinking something like, oh, I will take care about the organizational culture or cultural key that I will share on there, in the future when I will become bigger. But this is the most important part that you should start, because you're absolutely right. You can develop the skills, you can teach somebody, but it's very difficult to change the deep values of the person, because this is something that we have for all our life. Yeah. It's very rare when person really changed in opposite sides some values, and that's really complicated to learn. And that's why it's very important to understand our values and to think about how we will provide it to our team, and also how we will hire our team for understanding of our values. Even if it's just only two of you and you are looking for some assistance, it's very important to understand what kind of person we want to see close to us. From another hand, honestly speaking, when you're just launching and you're just beginning, you don't really have attention for everything, because you have a relationship with the clients, with the partners, with the team, and you just need somebody to start. You just need somebody, specifically in your business, because it's very complicated, and you have a lot of connection with the real people, and you're trying to understand how this person will connect with our clients. Is it kind enough? Is it polite enough? I will try to teach it later. I will think about it later. So I don't think that this is mistakes. I think this is just a sign that you changed, like business owners, and your business changed for this period, because I see some common thing between the first years of the business and the first years of the baby when we just, brought it to the world. The first thing is that we just renting ourselves for this couple years when you just started. The first years, definitely. The same with the baby, the same with the business. And another thing is that the dynamic of developing is such fast when you just start your business. In the future, of course, you come your way, you come your market, you stabilize, you're looking for some, just scaling opportunities. But at that moment, you just started. And I suppose that you did your brilliance. I'm your client and I love your place. And it wasn't a moment that I didn't feel that I'm very, very welcoming here. That's mean that you did your job great in all the stages. So thank you for that. And your team worked amazing. I don't know what was in the background of it. It seems that it was your amazing job at the background of it. but since the first day here, the level of hospitality was impressive. I always feel here like, I came to my friend's house and I'm eating their cozy food. And I really, every time I feel very, very welcoming, even if you are not on the base controlling everything. So. So, and inspiring moments. What was there? It can be several. What was the impressive thing there? And you felt that, oh my God, we did it. And that make you to move forward, because I'm sure that sometimes you think that maybe we should stop.
Yeah.
The moments what keep you in balance and move you forward. Katya,
So
please.
many.
So many, yeah. I don't think we actually ever, maybe it's just about me, but I don't think I ever had the moment when I thought we should stop. Yeah. But yeah, for me, the most inspiring moment is people like who came through the door. A lot of communities opened up for me from a very nice perspective, including our Eastern European community. I just didn't have a chance to connect with Eastern European community for many, many years because I was very focused on building career in the industry, and I just didn't have time for friends. And yeah, people who are coming through the doors are just amazing, and we get so much energy just from them, appreciating our food, appreciating our service, appreciating us, and being grateful for us being opened, which is was a great surprise for me, because for me, okay, opening a restaurant, I never kind of experienced the way when people bring so many positive emotions into I don't know, drinking and food spot. And we wanted to build that. This is what I was envisioning when we were thinking about the concept. We were thinking about the business, but I didn't expect the scale of the positive emotions that people bring through the door, and both our guests and our team. So this is probably,
I believe that founder of the, it's not just my believeness. This is the research that prove it. That founders create the organizational culture. They create this, emotional and energy wave, and people who resonate with this wave, they are becoming the client of the business. And if you are not resonating on this positive and hospitality wave, you will not face with it for the communication with the client. So this is all about you and your co-founder, girls.
Thank you very much.
It's true. It's not my opinion. This is the research that show it. And if sometimes, founder came to the dead end, the first step is to change something inside of you, and then you will see the reflection of it in your business. So
yes,
your inspiring moment.
I also have very many. I think one of the shining moments was our anniversary night. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence gave us a blessing, and this was preceded though by that sister, Greg, or Sister Viva L'Amour, telling us that he had been here several times, just kind of not in his sister outfit. And we didn't know. I mean, we don't, we meet so many people every day. I don't know who people are. And he said that he also brought his parents, who are quite conservative Eastern European descent, and that they were looking around at this place that's like queer and Eastern European and going like, oh my God. And they like loved it, and he was like, the fact that they love this place means a lot more than like we can sort of even express in words. And it was just so meaningful. The words and the blessing was just out of this world. I would also say, personally, one of the like inspiring moments is realizing how much resilience I have. There was there have been points along the way where I'm like, I can't do anything more. Like if I don't rest, like right now, at least for 2 hours, can you go do the thing? Like I'll come later or something. Like I really thought like I was just gonna sort of have some kind of physical breakdown. It's not necessarily emotional. It's just like your body pushes so hard because we were working full time still, and I'm coming here in the evenings, and we're working often till midnight or 1 o'clock. Start all over again, and like it just is physically exhausting. But there was a point at which I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I realized like I'm managing the stress and the activities and the tasks well enough that I still have more to give. Like if I need to, I can do more. And I actually like found a sense of creativity, which I, before all of this, didn't know that I have. Like I have so many ideas. I didn't know that I had all of these ideas until, you sort of come to the like bottom barrel, and then just like picked myself back up, and a lot of thanks to you and your support and like emotional support, and like, okay, you rest today and then you'll rest tomorrow. And we just kind of helped each other through the really, really tough, like physically and some often emotionally tough times. But this point of realizing my resilience and our effect on the business itself, as you said, like we and our personalities and our vibe are a core part of what has made this successful. And I didn't know that. Like going into this, we're just going to do this, and we're just going to be ourselves, our weird ass selves, and like do whatever we need to do. But apparently like that's working, and people appreciate, I mean, a big part of is like, we're very respectful. We're very inclusive. Like we're very kind to people. We invite people to be their weird and wild selves here, as long as they're respectful to everybody else around them. Be as weird as you want. We love that. Yeah, and the fact, like other key moments, we have 2 neighbors, Dana and Robert, who are a lovely couple who live kind of like across the street. And they came in once and they like sat, kind of quietly, and we talked to them a little bit, but then they came in again like the next week, and then they came in again the next week. And like realizing that there are people who are gonna go back.
Yeah.
We can, that means a lot to us.
Yeah, we have a lot of support from the community. We have a lot of regular customers who like come back, and yes, it's absolutely one of the most inspiring moments as well. We have a lot of support, and I think like one of the missions of the restaurant, and I think like when we started to build the business, we actually were thinking more about the mission than about business part of it. Was to bring people together, because there are a lot of things that unite us, and the world right now is at the place where there are more and more things that divide people, and we just wanted to bring people together despite of their, like, I don't know, nationalities, despite of their religious beliefs, despite of their, like, I don't know, identities and many, many different things. And to see this actually happening in these walls is very inspiring and very emotional at the same time.
Yeah.
And this is what I think, like at the end of each week, and our end of the week is usually Sunday, we come back home completely exhausted, honestly, like completely exhausted. But we sit down, and the first thing that we think that we created something really important in this current state of things at the moment. And we would like this to grow. So like more of like empathetic places where you are accepted, where you know that you are not judged, where you will not experience emotional violence, because unfortunately it's happening more and more. And we would like to continue this trend, and this is why we want to grow and keep growing. So
Yeah.
Do you want to pause?
No, I'm okay.
Some water, some hugs.
It might happen again, you know. She's my voice when I can't, when I'm crying.
Feel free to do it. Okay, I know that you have some values that you provide into your guests through your team and through what are you doing. Can you just share with us how does they sound, your values?
do you want
to?
pride? We call it pride.
Yes.
Yeah.
We came up with the acronym. It was not planned that way, but our values are called PRIDE, professionalism, respect, inclusion or integrity, either one, dignity, and empathy.
Fantastic. You're really succeeding in it. And again, I think you're right. There is some values that, beyond of everything, like feel safe, feel accepted, feel love. Because as I told you, every time that I'm coming here, I feel that I visiting my friend's home.
Yeah.
And Suki, I know that you created this, right? You
Yeah.
mean design, can you tell a little bit about it? And after that, I want to speak more about your team, about your co-founders team, what's the responsibility of each of you. But let's start with a space that you created for all of us. What did you do here?
Maybe a little bit backwards is the name, actually, DACHA. So DACHA means summer home in Eastern European language and countries. It came to us from AI. We actually had a big list of names. It got knocked off of the list for a while, and then
By me.
Yeah, because we didn't necessarily want to have an Eastern European name. We were kind of thinking of other things. But then my best friend, Emily, shout out again, she was like, but wait, what about DACHA? It's so cute. And we kind of like rolled it around for a while. And it worked on many different levels, both this idea of bringing family and friends together, also providing fresh food as local as we can possibly get it here.
From your garden.
Creating memories together. And the space itself. So I actually learned later on that the previous space before this was called Miller's Rest. And it was also similarly like the previous owner's idea of kind of a summer house. We didn't like put those two together until several months into the project. The previous owner did most of the major renovations. This used to be quite different. So a lot of the really beautiful elements are thanks to Mark Miller. But my thought was to divide it into different sort of zones. So we have the forest. Like if you're sitting in the living room, the forest room is at the front. This behind us is the meadow. This is the living room. And then we have a tea room upstairs. So it lends itself not only to like the concept of having a dacha, but it's worked out very well also to be able to host different events and have different spaces. And some of our guests like request these rooms just to eat in, which I think is so lovely that they'll call and be like, is the tea room available for me and my friends to come and just have a meal in there? So it's filled with things from all of our homes. Everything in here pretty much is like not new. It's very meaningful to us. Books from our bookshelf, pieces of artwork from our home. The photographs over here are from my father, who is an amazing photographer, Bill Richards. And we wanted, just to bring in some light. So there's light, there's windows behind you over here. And we wanted it to feel as though you're looking outside from the living room, and so sort of bounce light off of the space. And of course, we had to have like some glam, in our gold bar stools, which we just reupholstered. We reused a lot of the materials that were in here. We refinished the floors and brought the color scheme like way up, and had this, wallpaper installed behind us that really brings in a lot of light. So it was very thoughtful, very layered, and you're like sitting inside of my imagination. This place, I lived inside of here for such a long time before we made it reality. And I'm so glad it turned out Cool.
Yeah, Suki did the design actually. And when our cousin came into the restaurant, she was like, "Oh, I am in a Suki's hat."
I think soul, not only head,
Yeah.
soul and
Yes.
heart. So, Suki, you're really balancing very interesting parts of responsibility: finance, structure, and creativity. And I want to know more about your co-founder team and how their responsibility shares. I heard about Tanya. I also heard about Katya Chef. Can you tell more about the team members?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the core team is Tanya, Katya, and us. So Tanya, who is on maternity leave at the point, but she is still working from home. So she is mostly responsible for all the documentation, which is payrolls, which is like, I don't know, employees' handbooks. So basically like managing the team from logistical side. Katya is responsible for our amazing, beautiful cuisine. So she is trained in French cuisine, and she is incredibly creative, has great ideas, which actually bring a lot of people through the door just to try it, because she gets a lot of inspiration from Eastern European countries, from her family recipes, but she made everything a little more beautiful, a little more healthy, and she basically made this combination possible of like Eastern European food, which meets Californian ingredients. And she is also, she goes on the floor a lot. She likes to talk to people, and she's like part of the like face of this business in many different ways. I am responsible mostly for like building the team, managing the events, because we have a lot of events outside, bar caterings, food caterings, and all of that. Suki is responsible for finances and many different other things, like yes,
Marketing.
Marketing, we kind of, marketing is still
Not
a team effort, but I would say it's our weak side in like many different ways. We had an idea, and we had a very solid idea how to like open a restaurant. What do we need through the process, like documentation wise, like team wise, how to hire people, how to launch the kitchen. So that we had like pretty solid, and marketing is still something that we are still
on the
figuring
way.
out. Yeah, on the way. Like we figured out a lot of things.
Yeah.
We have an idea how to talk about us, but we still like kind of figuring out the ways of bringing the message to the public in many different ways.
So DACHA Projects is not only the restaurant, it's engaging several different business and hospitality industry. And can you please tell how it's look like? What does it engage in some kind of umbrella, right? Like project, umbrella brand, sorry, for different projects. And how does they, connect with each other? For example, can we say that this is some kind of the, of the face of your catering business? I mean that I can come here, try your cuisine, and after that decide as I want to invite you as my catering partner for some of my stuff. I know that you became an official catering partner of the San Francisco
City Hall,
and this is really amazing. This is their I think all the wedding couples want to have some photos in City Hall, and you are right now officially, support the events. It's great. Can you please tell more about the structure of your business?
Yeah. Diversifying the business.
Diversifying the business. Do you want to talk about that, or?
Sure, we can both do. So we pretty intentionally decided to diversify the business. So we know that a restaurant, again, doesn't have very good profit margins. So we decided catering. I mean, we were already doing cocktail catering. We expanded into food and cocktail catering. We also have mixology classes. Both we do them at the restaurant, but we also do them off-site, where you can have a group here. We do bar consulting. Well, so for like training and bar program consulting, bar and restaurant. and we have a cafe. So like all of those things I feel like are mutually reinforcing each other, that if you've come to the restaurant, you have some idea of what our food is like, and therefore maybe you'll want to order catering from us. If you've gone to the cafe, kind of maybe you'll want to come to the restaurant. If we have consulted you on your bar program, maybe you'll want to come and try our bar program. And that was a very intentional decision to make sure that nothing rests like on its own, that they all are kind of working together to reinforce the business that we're trying to build.
Can you tell a little bit about it's really interesting, how does the catering, it's B2B business, right, mostly, or B2C in your?
Both.
Both. Mm-hmm. How does it look like? I mean, does it have a lot of competitors, or how does companies choose the partner of the catering? What should you have to become a partner, for example, of some kind of serious business like Google or something like that? You should have some track history. You have some. What's the parameters, if you're open to share? Maybe not directly about the Google, of course, but how you should look like to become a really good B2B partner for the companies in catering.
Catering, yes, it's super competitive, even though like it's much more profitable than brick and mortar. I mean, like restaurant brick and mortar, because like bar brick and mortar is very profitable. And yes, catering is very competitive environment in San Francisco. There are a lot of catering companies, like numerous. And this is where, like, usually your Instagram promotion doesn't work. Your, like, I don't know, any marketing promotions usually don't work. It's all word of mouth. It's all your reputation and networking all the time. This is like the best part to get your clients and to have your regular clients, because it's usually your reputation on the market, and most of it of your reputation and its quality of food. And one of the most important things, it's like you need to position yourself on the market. A lot of companies, they focus on the volumes, and this is where they make their money, but not necessarily they provide like some kind of like even premium or high-end service. Like premium service, like it's somewhere in the middle, where yes, you have a lot of volume. High-end service, where you have like high quality customers, a lot of money for your geeks, but it's like much narrow market. So you need to understand whom you want to serve, what you want to do, and what you provide, translate it to your customers, and network, and keep networking and build your reputation.
What is the portrait of your B2B client? I mean, is it middle-sized company, huge company, or it's some, for example, event organizer?
So far, been small to medium size.
Yeah.
A few bigger ones, but generally small to medium. We have been exploring the option of there are B2B companies which pre-order lunch for the companies. And then, like they have an option, they'll put in their order about a week in advance, and then you deliver the lunch to those companies. We're exploring whether that makes sense for us, because we're not open for lunch. So we'd have to like actually change our operations in order to meet that new pipeline. But that, is kind of one interesting opportunity for B2B catering. And then otherwise it's been small to medium companies, I would say, for us. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So we spoke a lot about the business, and my YouTube channel dedicated to providing of some, combination of neurophysiology and business psychology and some business strategies for entrepreneurs, that I hope will help them to build resilience, personal resilience, team resilience, business resilience. And I want to speak a little bit with you about the psychological aspect of how to be an entrepreneur, specifically how to be a family of entrepreneurs. So, different clients, my clients, or different entrepreneurs that I know, they act in different ways. Somebody prefer to separate family and personal relationship with a business relationship. Somebody just specifically those who are the partners in the business, they're not separating it. And, there is a situation then the business interests become the dominance of your communication in your family. And I just want to know a little bit about how do you manage in this? How do you manage it? I mean, you're separating it. For example, you have some rule not to speak about the business at home, or to have, I don't know, one day per month when you are not speaking about the business at all, or just important part of your life. I just want to, before you will answer, I just want to share some kind of my understanding of this. I believe that this work-life balance thing is a total lie. Why I'm thinking so, I will explain. Because in this idea, some kind of understanding that, your work is not about your life. This is really strange, because for all the adult people, 70% of our life is our professional realization. Yeah. If we're speaking about entrepreneurs, it can be 90% of our, of what we're doing. And it sounds like, that means that when I work, I'm not living. What does it mean? And some kind of, guilty about it, that I didn't have enough time for my life because I work. So what's mean work-life balance? I'm thinking about, for example, like, let's imagine some wolf tribe. And how does it look like? The wolf mom say, okay, guys, I will go for a walk and hunt some rabbit. I will bring it. And after that, we can discuss what you had in your school. It's not correct. It's just natural part of the life. And I believe that, for adult people, our professional career, our realization, our businesses, this is our life. And also another part of it, I think that this idea, it's make people think that if I'm suffering on my job, if I don't like my job, this is normal, because my life is something separate from my job. And that's why during my experience with different clients, I found that this is very, very toxic idea to separate your life and your work. I mean, like a concept, like the work-life balance. But speaking about the relationship in the co-founder team, specifically if you're the family, it's very personal. It's very individual. I don't think that there is some rule for that. Make this, not make this. It really depends on relationship, because sometimes it can ruin relationship. Again, maybe it's about the relationship, more about the business partners. Sometimes it can, help you to understand deeply your partner, help you to go through some challenges together, and maybe become, more. How can I say it? Maybe to feel some more deeper connection with your partner. So how do you manage it?
We talk about business probably 90% of time, but it's always fun. Like, I mean, we are having fun, like building that. And yes, it's hard sometimes. And yes, we have to discuss some boundaries and hard topics and go deep into them. But it's still a very easy process for us, because we found each other.
And we did try to recently figured out, I didn't know this until recently, that for Katya, when we drive into the restaurant, because we live outside of the city, this is her time to be quiet, figure out the day, and I'm like, let's talk about all the things. And she was like, please, can we just have this, half an hour or whatever to reset and kind of, I'll answer all of your questions when we get to the restaurant. So that's one kind of rule that I'm doing my best to
You're doing great.
Respect.
Thank you very
much. Is especially when we're going in, on the way out, we talk. But yeah, when we're going in, it's we're recharge time. We do take Mondays to rest and try to rest as much as possible. We always have to work. I mean, it's all there's always something to do, but we just watch Netflix and do nothing, for that one day. And that's enough for us to keep on going for the rest of the week. I think those are the two things. And we're trying to take time away and actually take some vacations. We're going to visit my parents soon, which we're super excited about, a little worried about, but super excited about at the same time, to get some time away from here and let the thing run on its own and see what happens.
Any advices that you can give for the family-founded businesses who planning to do it, or who right now in the middle of this journey?
Have a psychotherapist.
Yes.
You mean family therapist or
both?
Depending, I mean, we don't have family therapist.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Yeah, we don't need it. But each of us have their own therapist, and I think it's very important, because on each stage of the business challenge, you will meet your new self, which you probably had no idea about before. And it will uncover a lot of things which you will need to face, you will need to deal with. It's not going to be a great meeting every time. Like sometimes it will be pretty ugly, which is part of the process, and you don't need to be scared of that, but you need to have a support. Like getting into the business, make sure you have your support. Your family, your friends, your psychotherapist, your business coach, and your financial coach. So, I think because somebody already went through this whole process. Somebody already has this experience. You don't need to be on your own. Have your mentors also, like somebody who can like take your hand and bring you through like all the challenges. And there will be a lot of them. So yeah, just have your support.
And communication. I think talk about whatever's going on as soon as you possibly can, rather than letting it fester. Sometimes that's really difficult because like we're in the middle of doing something and something happens and we need to talk about it. But sometimes I'll just pull her outside and be like, okay, we need to like figure something out like right this moment. But otherwise we just talk about everything and sort of resolve certain things. Like with usually it's something I'm worried about and then she's worried about something and we'll just talk about it to like work through it before we're able to talk to our therapist. Yeah, but open communication and mentors, I would totally agree. Like find other family-owned businesses maybe in your industry and talk to them. Like how did they manage it? You know, what were their challenges and how did they overcome them? Learning from other people who have been through it is the best thing that we've found. We have a lot of mentors and we just ask them a lot of questions. And we hope one day to be able to be mentors to other people so that other people can get into business like we did.
That's what I wanted to ask about. How you open it for some
100%
mentorship to
yeah,
always.
I'm also a coach. I'm a personal coach as well. And I talk to a lot of people have found me who are on some kind of journey towards entrepreneurship. Like it's not been intentional that way. And I'm like, well, like if you have questions, you know, it's a little unusual for the coach to share about themselves, but it depends on the type of coach. And I'm like, just ask me whatever you want, you know, and like, let's talk about it and then roll it into whatever you're trying to do for yourself. So yeah, for sure.
You know, you mentioned about the psychotherapy. I'm definitely on this side, as you can guess, because you know, sometimes my client ask me if it's possible to go through this journey by yourself. Mostly, I can say yes, it's possible, but it can take much more time. And as you correctly say, you know, if you can have an access to some kind of professional opinion, professional second opinion, and you can use it, why you shouldn't do it? I really believe that this is very important. So, but I want to ask you, how do you think, when is the moment to entrepreneur to understand that I really need some professional support and, you know, in psychological aspect of my life?
Or you will feel it for sure. If you didn't build the support system before going into the business, and probably you didn't because you were not in this situation where you actually crave it, there will be a moment when you will understand that you need help. And unfortunately, a lot of people are not trained to listen to themselves early enough to understand, okay, this is the moment I need support, I need help, I need to ask for help. So listen to yourselves and just be aware, like awareness of your inner condition. Like once it's coming to like an unstable situation or feels like that, you're approaching some kind of like edge, this is where you have to do the step right here and right now. And there is always way out, and usually through professional help. So, yeah.
I might add a realization for me that I needed therapy, additional therapy, was the lack of sleep. Like I was up all night worrying about things and I could not sleep. And I think I was getting at best 5 hours of sleep every day for quite a while until I was like, you know what? I need to talk to somebody. You know, I was in therapy for a long time before. I had stopped it when we started the business. And around like January, this time frame, I was like, I need help. And like sleep, I think, is something to pay close attention to as you're an entrepreneur. And some people will say, well, I'm like working all the time. I'm not sleeping because I'm working. But I think it's more true that you're not sleeping because you're stressed and you need some help to support yourself through that stressful period.
You're right. And I agree with you, Kate, because it's much better to start to build the relationship with your therapist before you're facing with some really tough challenges because the important part of successful therapy is trust between you and your psychologist, your therapist, your coach, depends on. And if you just start a relationship when you are in some kind of awful situation, you don't have enough resources to be clear that this is your partner in this journey, and you shouldn't take a first therapist that you get. But if you're in a challenging moment, you can have what you have because you don't have enough time to looking for specifically your person. And this trust is very, very important part of entrepreneurship, I suppose, because as I told, there are not so much people around you. With that, you can allow yourself to be vulnerable, to share some kind of your emotions, fearness, etc. It's great that you can share it with each other, as I guess, but it's not, it's not similar for different families because sometimes you really want to protect your family from some kind of, stress, fearness, and you're not sharing. It's another question why, but this is the reality. Okay, thank you so much, dear entrepreneurs. Please. Take your time and looking for a therapist before you will go for some crisis. So we're running to the end of our conversation. I'm really ready to speak with you endless, but we are in the finish line, and I want to ask you about this thing. I have several association with your business, with the DACHA, and I have the 3 words that I'm thinking when I'm thinking about you or telling for somebody about you. DACHA for me is amazing, cozy tastes that really make you feel home. Hospitality, always, as I told you, and friends, because I really feel like welcome and friend here, and also I always meet some of my friends here because our community, Eastern European. Not only I've invited everyone here. That's why sometimes I met my friends here. And my question is for you: you are really building something great, and what is your desire? What 3 words you want to be, associated with your clients? What's the 3 main words? You can answer together or separately as you want.
Sure. I have cozy, community, and delicious.
I translate it into love, peace, and piroshkis.
Yes,
So, thank you so much, dear ladies. The last words that you can, wish for the entrepreneurs that right now listening or watching our interview, just something that you want to say them, to bless them with something.
I would say let's bring more support for small businesses and entrepreneurs because the corporations have enough of the power dynamic, and small businesses bring a sense of care and community and building something more that corporations just can't do. And I think we need a lot more small businesses to thrive and to get support from both the community, from the government, from different entities. And I just really wish entrepreneurs the best of success and that they can find the support that they need to really thrive.
On the similar line is build your support systems as soon as you can. Be mentored, be open for mentorship, I think. And I think it has to be the part which doesn't involve any money, and this is actually happening. At the beginning, when we started to build this business, I really wanted to go around and get the advice from like people in this industry. And my question always was like, why this super busy, very successful person would like share their time with me when I have like 100 million questions which I want to ask them. Like, I like kind of got through this moment of doubt, and I went out there and I started to talk to people, to successful people in the industry. And they were all willing to share their experience. They were all willing to help. I think it's because like at one point of your success, you want this self-realization, you want to share something. When you have abundance of something, you want to share. So don't be afraid to just go out there and seek for advice. Yeah, mentorship. So get mentorship, provide mentorship whenever you feel like you're ready to provide it. And this is what will keep, I think, small businesses and especially businesses in hospitality thriving together, because it's like we have to be together. We have to be the community to keep going, even though it's like unstable economy situation or whatever. Like there will be always something. There will be always something that will prevent you from making the step. Just make the step and we'll figure it out.
Thank you so much. You're absolutely right. I think that, successful people open to share their experience and support other entrepreneurs because they just want to live in a better world, and you understand that it's impossible to do everything by your own. And you can just support people who cover in other industries. For example, I'm very happy to support different entrepreneurs because I know that they will provide a better world for me with amazing services, with amazing food, with amazing, jewelry, clothing, whatever it was. And that's what make my mission so inspiring for myself. And I want to end our conversation by the words for all the entrepreneurs. You are not alone. You shouldn't be alone. Looking for support, looking for some mentors. Come to the DACHA and enjoy the hospitality whenever you want. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
and
much.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
One of the ways that we take care of ourselves as entrepreneurs is a lot of meditation. We meditate almost every day, and mantras, things that we repeat to ourselves all the time, every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And we recently came up with one.
One of them is everything is always working out for us. Like whenever we are going through like really hard, difficult moments, we repeat everything is always working out for us. And generally it is. And meditation is a huge part of your mental health. And I think like before you are going into the business, learn how to meditate. It will save your life. And we have one of our favorite ones,
which is fuck that. Okay.
All right.
Cool.